Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you all, if there's anybody out there. So, we see it, hear it, and in many cases, we say it on a daily basis. Civil war is coming, civil war is coming. And you forever have to ask yourself, is it really? Because I'm sure many of us, like me, have got families, and you think, I don't want to get embroiled into something that's going to pull my family apart, etc., etc. But we have to really look at it for what it is. I know we have great beacons of hope like Restore Britain. I've watched his speeches the last couple of days and it's really given me hope. I remember his introduction video where he's at his farm genuinely brought a lump to my throat. But like he acknowledges, it's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of sorting out. And this is the reality of it. When I ask myself the question, is civil war really coming, or is a revolution coming? I always say to myself, and I always think about a quote from one of the greatest movies of all time, which is Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers. War is upon you, whether you like it or not, or whether you choose to accept it. And what do we mean by this? So, just recently, there was two people jailed for life for committing what was going to be one of the biggest terrorist attacks that we've ever seen on this soil. They had AK-47s, RPGs, weapon systems, and they were planning mass destruction, death and devastation. And in their police interviews, they didn't care. And the reality of it is, and I'll say this, I have worked with many moderate Muslims, I have been around Muslims, being from the area that I'm from, and yeah, I will say this, not all are bad. Not all want to come here and indoctrinate their youth and implement Sharia law. And I'll be honest with you, I've asked them out of them. I'll say it straight. I think many of them are fake Muslims, if I'm being honest with you. I don't think they actually follow Islam, but they daren't turn around and leave Islam from their community. But we have to accept the fact that a large proportion of young Muslims do want Sharia law. So this seems to be the pattern. Some people might come here semi-moderate, they'll have children that are less moderate, and their children will be less moderate, to the point where you then find yourself with some extremists. And whether people like it or not, people on the right, people on the left, people on the up, people on the down, these people don't like our way of life. These people don't respect women. These people don't respect British culture, traditional British culture. And at some point it will reach boiling point. And the problem that you've got, and this is where I truly agree with one of my old commanders when, he was commanding the forces when I was in Afghanistan, Richard Kemp, who, I've never met personally, but people have always spoke quite highly of him. He speaks, in my opinion, very accurately about there being a three-way sort of civil war where it's the people, the Islamists and the government. Because the reality of it is we have a government currently, and even the MPs inside it, some of them will turn around and say the disdain that they have for the people, the ability for them to actually care. Prime examples of this is obviously we've got the rape gang inquiries that have just been brought out by Mr. Rupert Lowe, who I believe should one day be, with God's grace, be the next Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. We've got these people, they don't care, they're not interested. They sit there at Prime Minister's questions and they will go on social media to berate people about, what they say about migration. This Jim Ratcliffe, they talk about sanctioning him, they talk about how he needs to apologise, he's offended people. But then at the same time, you have trials of people that have raped children, groomed children, and you've had these testimonies of people saying things like, I saw 50 people in the back of a lorry all tied into dog cages looking like they're on drugs. You've got tens of thousands of young girls that are missing, feared to be in Pakistan. They have no respect for us. They have no liking to us. They are there for their own agenda. They're there for their own selfish reasons and to push their own political ideologies. And they don't care that the fact that young people won't have access to a house. They will never be able to buy a house. The job situation's going down and down. High streets declining. I mean, how many high streets have you been down? I go to high streets every day for my job, and they're all in decline. I don't know a single one. Even the nice places, even the places that you read about in newspapers and see on Facebook. They say like, oh, this is a beautiful high street. They're all in decline. They're all failing. All the big businesses, they're all closing down. And they're doing this, they're knowing they're doing this, and they don't care. They don't care because they want to usher in their new world order, their new ideology. They want to get in bed with people like the Chinese, the socialist Chinese, people who are doing communist. They're not communist. There's never been such thing as a communist society. It's just not happened. They want to run everything. They want to ruin everything. They want to bring out their AI. They want to corrupt our justice system. They're turning us against each other. And at some point it's got to stop. So I truly do believe that yes, we will have some form of civil war, whether we like it or not. I think you've just got to get to a point where people have got to get ready. People have got to get organised. People have got to maybe take up a combat sport. Buy yourself a crossbow. Buy yourself a longbow. Protect yourself. Make a plan. Think to yourself, where am I going to get my family? I've got my plan. If things happen, I know where I'm going to send them. I know where to go. I've got some money built up so they can survive off it. But yeah, time's changing. Something's coming. We can all see it. We can all smell it. It's happening. Just be ready. Just live your life now. Enjoy yourself. Go out. Be out in nature. Look at this beautiful place. We're at a place called Lord's Church and it's absolutely stunning. It's a nightmare on the roads today, but we have to fight for this green and pleasant land, this beautiful country that we call home. We need to get our culture back. We need to completely change the way our government is run. We need to change our political system. We need to invent a system that's for the people, by the people. We didn't elect these idiots that are in power just to make up their own things, go against their manifesto. Now, this is not an anti-Labour thing. Governments have been doing it probably since John Major. I remember growing up with Tony Blair, and I remember seeing all these imams and stuff like that coming over. Every now and again people will say, oh, they've said this, they've said that, and they'll deny it. But now they're open about it. They're literally making plans in some places of the UK to stone their women when they commit adultery. That's not part of this culture. They're talking about taking over. This independent candidate guy, in the Birmingham area, who's been on Talk TV and stuff like that. There's videos of him saying like, we're here to take over. They're not even denying it anymore. They're not even bothered about it anymore. Mr. Anjem Choudhury, who, whatever you think of him, he's a very well-spoken, very well-educated person. He's been saying for years, yeah, go to your passport office, see what people are there. So go to your home office. He said, what was he said? He said, I'm not going to condemn these people that commit these murders, but my honest answer to them all is, you don't even need to bother doing it. You don't need to bother committing these terrorist attacks, because we're taking over, whether you like it or not. And at the end of the day, if anybody anybody can point to any town or city in this country that has been enriched by cultural diversity. You know, I know this is not a racist rant. This is, you know, I don't care what colour you are, as long as you come to this great country, well, once great country, and make your mark and don't become a burden to the rest of us who go to work, pay our tax. You know, you tell me one town or city that is improved drastically, looks clean, is amazing, that has been the victim of cultural diversity, and I will PayPal that person £500. You know, but I'm not just going to be like, okay, yeah, here's some money, you've told me something. I'll come down somewhere and I'll meet you and we'll say, right, show me then. Let's have a look at pictures of it before. Now let's have a look at pictures of it afterwards. And let's see where that takes us. Because there's not one. All these statistics about all the most crime-ridden places, you know, they're all the same. Coventry, Birmingham, Bolton, Bradford, Luton, and the only white people you get there are the smackheads, flipping stealing from all the shops so they can buy the drugs off the gangs. But yeah, look at it, beautiful. It's definitely worth a visit. Lud's Church in Peak District. This is now that Dane Bridge. Take care, guys. Keep yourself safe and have a think. Start making your plans. Start getting yourself fit. And start thinking about what you can do for your country and your brothers.